Good afternoon. Thank you, Chairwoman Lee, for gathering the subcommittee, and thanks for giving me a few moments, and certainly thank you to the various Secretaries of State for being here today. As we gather this afternoon to revisit the 2024 election, it's important to state up front that the 2024 election was fair and secure, that Donald Trump was elected president. You see, unlike many on the other side of the aisle, Democrats can and will acknowledge that fact. Even when we don't personally like or agree with the outcome of an election, we honor the democratic process and accept the results. In examining the last election and looking for ways to improve our country's election administration, we must address the rampant spread of myths and disinformation and falsehoods that continue to be spread about our electoral system. We must protect election workers who face continued threats and harassment. We must address the rise of artificial intelligence, generative AI, and continued foreign influence campaigns that seek to affect and influence our elections. We must fully fund our elections. Federal elections are on the ballot in every state every 2 years, and yet Congress has continued and consistently failed to sufficiently fund those election efforts at the state and local level. Congress must halt and reverse the administration's harmful decisions to attack, undermine, and defund critical federal agencies and partnerships like the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, and the Elections Infrastructure Information Sharing and Analysis Center, or the FBI's Foreign Influence Task Force. These actions to cripple and undermine these agencies do not strengthen our elections. In fact, they make us less secure. We need to fix our broken special interest big money campaign finance system. Last year, one donor, billionaire Elon Musk, spent at least $291 million backing Donald Trump and other Republican candidates. According to Open Secrets, the top 6 donors in the United States gave over $100 million each during the 2024 election, all supporting the president and Republican candidates. In last week's Wisconsin Supreme Court election, Elon Musk and allied groups spent over $20 million. We also need fair maps. Look at North Carolina, where Republicans gerrymandered their way into the House majority by drawing 3 Democratic members out of their seats. The president's recent executive order on election integrity is a further assault on our democracy. The order is unlawful and unnecessary, attempting to impose documentary proof of citizenship requirements to register to vote by executive fiat, circumventing the United States Congress and our constitutional authority. It undermines the independence of the U.S. Election Assistance Commission and injects chaos and uncertainty into our voting system certification process. New York's Attorney General and a coalition of 18 other attorneys general are suing to stop President Trump's unconstitutional attempts to seize control of our elections. Voters and party committees have also sued to stop the White House from doing that. Alongside all of this is the so-called SAVE Act, a measure that my colleagues on the other side claim is necessary to prevent non-citizens from voting in U.S. elections. It's not. Non-citizens registering to vote is already a crime. Non-citizens voting is a crime and leads to immediate deportation. It rarely happens, and when it does, non-citizens are held accountable, as they should be. The SAVE Act and the President's order are 2 sides of the same coin. Now, with the economic pain of the President's chaotic tariffs just being felt, members of the majority are planning to charge millions of Americans potentially billions of dollars just to register to vote for the 150 million Americans who don't have passports. Last week, I testified before the Rules Committee that the SAVE Act and the executive order would disenfranchise women, rural voters, military voters, overseas voters, Native American voters, seniors, students, survivors of domestic abuse, and survivors of natural disasters, millions of Americans. There is, however, real work Congress can do to improve our elections. Election officials take on essential, often thankless tasks in running elections. They face increased threats and too little and inconsistent funding from Congress. That could stop. As ranking member of this committee and a member of the Appropriations Committee, I'll continue to push for additional funding and consistent elections funding. We can work to combat mis- and disinformation, to meet the challenges posed by AI, and to improve access to the ballot for every single American. Providing both support and accurate information will allow election workers to administer secure, accessible elections and give Americans the confidence in elections that they need. I was honored to join Ranking Member Sewell in her hometown of Selma for the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday just last month. We must honor the legacy and continue moving forward in the fight for voting rights, not backwards. So I'm anxious to hear from each of the secretaries today. Thank you for your work, for the work your staffs do, and all the election workers in your respective states to carry out these important elections. With that, Madam Chair, thank you for the opportunity, and I yield back.